Mapped business transaction. So now the vendor invoice from the previous example is paid, while withholding tax 3% cash discount payment amount is this. Now what must be considered here? The selected document splitting characteristic must now also be transferred to the non-assigned posting line of the payment document. The splitting ratio of the account assignment in the payment document is transferred passively from the expense. So this is what we did entry view. And passive splitting, for more information about cash discount integration topics. Okay. So this is what how in cash discount is broken up. Okay. So this is how the passive document splitting works, where we can, the discount line item is also, split it based on the active line. The passive line is also get split. The splitting rules for the payment of vendor are also provided in the standard SAP system. If we assume that the invoice is not paid in full and, for example, the residual item of 2000 remains, this would create a new vendor line item, and in the GLV of this document, the vendor amount would in turn split passively. For example, now we assume we are not making the full payment, we are just making the partial payment, and there is a residual line for 2000 euros. So in that case, SAP will create another vendor line, and in GLV of this document, the vendor amount would in turn be split in accordance with the original account assignment relationship. That's what it will look like. It is complex. I do understand, you have to listen to me again at least a couple of times, because this is a complex thing. Document splitting is not that simple. Okay. The inheritance indicator ensures that if the relevant account assignment objects are unique, they are inherited to cash, desk, and tax site, even if or because they are without a corresponding line. So we saw the inheritance button that automatically takes the characteristics to the GL view. Mapped business transactions. Profit center update and segments are assigned. Document splitting activated, and document splitting characteristics like profit center or segment are selected, but only the characteristic segment is defined as the required entry in the and zero balance. So segment is mandatory, it is required entry here. So that's why, if you see here, SAP is created with the zero balance segment. By segment they have added the line, because here it is debit bank, credit bank, and then segment A and segment B. But where is the segment A is debited, but where is the credit of segment A? So here is the credit of segment A. Segment B is credited, so where is the debit of segment B? So here is the debit of segment B. So at the end, if you see this account, it is credited, it is debited. Okay, 194500, it gets 0 out. But to ensure that this line goes correctly to the financial statement, we have this zero balance clearing account. It gets 0, but it is a intermediary account which we use to ensure that it goes in the line. Possible reasons for reposting: vendor invoice was assigned to an incorrect assignment, segment and paid with incorrect segment. If desired, both the expense and the vendor item obviously need to be corrected. Zero balance creation is useful and necessary if you want to create a complete balance sheet for the relevant segment characteristics, meaning generally that you have also set required entry field indicator for this characteristic. So for document type SA, there is an unspecified posting rule because the SA is normally the GL account document like a JV or anything. So in that, what happen is the business transaction is not posted. To be able to post, splitting rule must be extended, or you can consider whether another rule or business process can be mapped to the posting shown. So here its error says in the line item 3, which is 100,000 petty cash for 165 euros, the line item, the segment is not there, it is missing. So no relevant base item category is defined for the item cash account in the corresponding business transaction, and the document type is SA. So the characteristic segment cannot be inherited because the account assignment are not unique. So that's why it is not inherited, because it is not unique. It's a because a single sended document, it's no inheritance is there, it's a fresh document. However, a posting would be only be successful if an existing account rule were modified or completely new rule defined. So here you see, either you have to modify the rule or you have to define a new rule. Before you change the standard business transaction, you define your own. You should define and assign own splitting method. So now you see we have assigned a splitting method Z001, and we are copying actually it from another standard one, from the vendor invoice one, and then we are define a splitting method, define a splitting rule, and add a splitting method. Once we complete this, so that's how the first wizard enables you to set up activate document splitting from the basics, or for the first time. The second is modifying and modeling the splitting rules. So we are modeling the rules now. We'll not consider the first wizard, we'll go to the second wizard directly. Modeling. So create, we just created Z001, so to assign a template, new item category 4000, base item category and document type is we are working on SA at this point, and test and complete. And now if we see this is all rules definition. So then this will allow, so it is complete. We simulate and it is complete. So then it will allow the SA document type. Exercise. Inheritance. What is the meaning of inheritance? Enter a vendor invoice. Before you simulate, first do the classic simulation and then do the GL simulation. It is asking, you can practice this in SAP system, and then you display the document. Create the splitting rules. So this is an optional step. This is a configuration. So these are all exercises. You can skip for the time being. Lesson summary. This is important. So now you understand the logic behind document splitting, why we use this. We break the line items. Customizing, the basic customizing, we understood how to activate that, how to activate item category, how to create a splitting business transaction, how to business transaction variant, document splitting rules, and then we saw the examples. So this completes the entire unit.